Hi everyone, and welcome to Tony Fox Tarot. Thanks for tuning in to watch my channel. It's great to have you with me today. Today's pick a card reading question is, will we be together? So we're going to look at that question by profiling the other person, profiling you, and looking at your combined circumstances, getting an understanding of what's going on, and essentially looking at the outcomes as to whether you will be together or not. Before we get started, if you would like to go down below and hit subscribe, tap on the bell. That'll give you notifications for future readings I post. Like and share this video where you can. It'd be great to get me out there far and wide. If you're interested in the services that I offer as a psychic tarot reader, you can also go to www.tonyfoxtarot.com. Plenty of information there about me, what it is that I do, and how it is that you can access my service. And I also release videos on a weekly basis, so feel free to browse the videos that I've already posted on YouTube. Now, before you, we have 4 different cards represented by different crystals. Card number 1 with the green fluorite, card number 2 with the howlite, card number 3 with the smoky quartz, and card number 4 with the amethyst. So feet firmly on the ground and taking in a nice deep breath, thinking about the question, will we be together, nice and clearly framed in your mind, and releasing the breath. Just taking a moment to pause, looking at the cards before you on the screen. Which of these cards has the strongest resonance for you? Is it card number 1 with the green fluorite? Card number 2 with the howlite? Card number 3 with the smoky quartz? Or is it card number 4 with the amethyst? Down below, there are 4 different timestamps. So if you'd like to go to the timestamp that represents your card, I'll be with you in a moment. Hi everyone, this is card number 1 and this is the green fluorite. So let's get straight into your reading today. And the question is, will we be together? Big question. Let's get the cards on the table. We've got the Devil, King of Wands, the Magician, Queen of Cups, Death, 9 of Pentacles, the Fool, Ace of Swords, getting to know each other. As you reveal your innermost selves to each other, your bond deepens. Trust, and daydreams and decisions. Trust is fundamental to this particular reading. I can see it straight away. I'm going to come over here to trust. It's a card that arises when matters of the heart need to be manifested, and it's really about trusting your path in regards to that it's actually the right one, and so it's a card of action. It's about putting aside your fears around falling in love with somebody and any disillusionments really that you're under. So that's something that does need to be explored. But before we get into that, a lot of frustration and hopelessness can manifest through a lack of trust in regards to bonding with somebody else. And so it really calls on you to sort of to be positive and to take risks. And risk is really what it's all about, because if you're not trusting somebody, you're holding back. And there's a risk there that you're feeling that you may be hurt if you begin to forge a bond with them. And if I come over here to the Fool and the Ace of Swords, I really feel that these 2 cards symbolize very clearly who it is that you are. I think you're a very inspirational person. I think you really like your freedom. I think you like to do things fairly unconventionally, and I don't think you like to be held back at all. Very concise, clear thinker. You're a really astute, intelligent perception about what's going on, but there's a high degree of defensiveness. I also think that you like independence. You like to sort of unfold a path in a way where you have control over things, which kind of probably does, fall into the, well, not fall into sort of trust issues, but I think it's sort of it's a part of wanting to be in control. The Fool is very much about a new beginning, and the Ace of Swords is also a new beginning, but the Ace of Swords symbolizes issues. I feel that you're the person who has actually initiated some kind of separation between you and this other person. I feel like you've acted very concisely. You've been very black and white about it. It's like, no, I'm out here. I'm going to go it alone, be on my own, do my own thing. So I think there's been some trust issues here. I think you've defended your position in a way where you feel that you just don't want to get hurt. And you've moved on in a way where you've sort of said, look, okay, I want to do my own thing now. And although you've been fairly clear about that, the difficulty is that the person that you've actually split from really is very much in love with you, okay? This is somebody who has extremely mature feelings in terms of the heart area, and they really feel very bonded to you in a way where their emotional self is really, they're kind of fallen for you, hook, line and sinker. And I think the thing is they really want to make a go of it still. I don't think they've actually let go, and I think they've really been very honest in terms of putting everything on the table and saying, look, I really want to be with you, and I really want to take this forward. So perhaps they've captured your attention and maybe caused a bit of doubt there as to whether this is right or whether this is wrong. The Magician is a card of initiation, about taking things forward, striking things into action. The Queen of Cups is the Queen of Hearts. This is somebody who is very, very sort of heartfelt, a very compassionate individual, very sympathetic to other people, really taps in on a caring level, very, very sensitive, very loving. Magician is a card that also suggests that this is also another person who's fairly unconventional. I think the two of you are very spiritually inspired. I think you're both on a journey. I get a sense that this person has a lot of healing energy within them. Perhaps they might work in a field where they're helping other people in some way. But they're a real sort of self-starter type. You know, they're quite unique in terms of their character. I think that they really set themselves apart in terms of the crowd. This is somebody who stands out in a way that doesn't do the mainstream in any way, but then neither do you. It's a pretty good match, to be honest with you. Hello. But over here to the Devil and the King of Wands, I feel that these two cards further reflect your position. I think you're a very very professional individual who really strives towards getting to the top. I think there's no stopping you. You really push very hard to work your way through to achieving results. I think that work's been very important for you, and that it's been a real priority. I think it's also been a bit of a thorn in the side of the relationship. Perhaps you've actually put a lot more time into your work as opposed to the relationship. It's perhaps the relationship has suffered to some degree because of the amount of time that you give to the kind of work that you're doing. Now, work could be a lot of different things. Work could be work within the home. It could be professional work in terms of your career. It could be studying. It could be anything that you're just really focused on. I think you give everything to whatever it is that you actually decide upon in terms of a goal, and you're a very driven person. The Devil and the Knight of Wands also suggest to me that you feel that there's been a lot of responsibility, because you're a person who takes on responsibility, because you're a professional individual who focuses on getting the job done. You like to manage a project to its completion, and you want it to be the best possible outcome. I think you do this possibly in relationships as well, and perhaps the relationship is, in your mind, taken a lot of management, a lot of energy, a lot of effort, and that's kind of really gotten under your skin a bit and made you feel a little bit resentful. But I think there's some control issues there. In terms of wanting to make sure that all the boundaries are in place, that everything's going a way that it is according to your idea of what should be happening, because you don't want variables that might hurt you on an emotional level. You know, you're very good at working very hard, you're very analytical, but the heart energy is not opening up here. You know, you're not allowing yourself to get hurt in a relationship. And I think that this over here to Death and the Knight of Pentacles has been an ending link to a new beginning for you. But the nine, and death is a transition, a very difficult one. I don't think this has been an easy break. I think things are still flying around. You know, there's a lot of dust that's still up in the air. Things haven't completely settled. And I think you're trying to get your head around what's going on. And the curveball has been that this person is really obviously very in love with you, and you can see that. And you're thinking, well, how am I responding? And I think also the thing is that the Nine of Pentacles is a card of latent talent. You know, there was a sense that you had more to do in your professional life, or that there was something else that you wanted to unfold that was latent within yourself, that perhaps you felt the relationship was too much of a distraction from the kinds of things that you were wanting to pursue in terms of your work. But I think also you've begun to realize that actually, you know what, there's still a lot in this relationship that really could unfold. And perhaps there's something in this, you know, maybe this is not necessarily the right thing to do. Maybe I should have a look at this. Otherwise you wouldn't be sitting here having this reading. So yeah, very, very difficult transition. Coming back down to here, to daydreams and decisions, this is a card of, trust is a card of action. It's really saying to you, you really need to sort this out. You know, the trust issues need to be ironed out. Daydreams and decisions is really a way in to figure out how to do that. Especially when there's confusion and uncertainty with regards to your love life. You know, it really sort of calls on you to say, what do you want? You know, what do you really want? You know, do you want a relationship? Because if you want a relationship, then you really need to explore how it is that you want to have that. You know, maintaining a position of defensive-ness and control and really trying to eliminate any possibility of getting hurt is really it's not gonna give you much. It really isn't, because you need to trust, you need to take a risk essentially, and actually throw caution to the wind and jump in and, you know, basically go with the flow and let go of any of these control issues. And I think a part of the way to do this is to sort of manifest change through, you know, a much more fun way of exploring what it is that you want, which is really going into sort of fantasy and daydreams and trying to understand, you know, from a much more sort of internalized projection, you know, like projecting up onto that screen inside your mind's eye and sort of saying, through fantasy, exploring what it is that you want in a relationship, how you want, because you're very unconventional, and so is this other person. And I don't think you want to sort of conform into these sort of restrictive stereotype. So perhaps it's really, you know, it's a really important process to kind of get to grips with in terms of figuring out what feels right to you, because it might not feel right to everybody else, but it needs to feel right to you. Otherwise, you're not going to be prepared to take that risk. And I think you need to take your time about this in terms of making a decision. You know, you don't have to rush in. And so. But the point is that once you have made that decision, you do need to act on it. Otherwise, it's never going to happen. A big part of this is also getting to know the other person from a heartfelt level, getting to know each other as you reveal your innermost selves to each other. Your bond deepens. And this is the truth, because at the moment I feel that this person's really opened up to you in a way where they've been very honest. They've really put everything out on the table once again. But you know, you've really held back. You know, they can see who you are. They understand who you are. They're very intuitive, very spiritual. They're very, I guess they have a lot of different experiences and skills and tools to be able to manage through the process of a relationship in a way where you could learn a lot from them. But I think that they're very sure in, you know, from where they're standing as to how it is they really feel, and they're prepared to kind of just get in there. They can see who it is that you are. And I think to a much lesser degree, you understand who they really are. So I think there needs to be also an opportunity, once you're clear about what you want, to have a conversation with this person and get to know them, and to really reveal how it is that you would like to have a relationship from a much more natural way, you know, like without all these structures and stereotypes sort of really kind of, you know, forcing you into something that you don't want to do, because this person is really open to that. They really want to have a relationship with you on a sort of a much more of a truth level, as opposed to sort of an expectation level. So cutting to the chase here, I've given quite a lot of information here in terms of you know, a way forward, but I do feel in any case that there's still some time to go before you're prepared or ready to give this another go. And I do feel that you'll give it another go. My sense is that within another 3 months, you're at a point where you feel re-established and reconnected with this person sufficiently to give it another go from a much more grounded point of view. I think you'll have learned a lot through this difficult experience. I think this has been very confronting for you. However, I think moving forward, there certainly is a window of opportunity here to reestablish the relationship. So I feel that you will be together again within 3 months. Moving forward, the relationship will have another opportunity to unfold. I hope this reading has made some sense to you guys. And if it has, excuse me, please leave some comments down below. Feedback would be great. Like and share this video where you can. And if you would like to subscribe, please do so. Hit on the bell icon while you're down there. That'll give you notifications for any future readings that I post. If you're interested in my service as a psychic tarot reader, you can go to www.tonyfoxtarot.com. Plenty of information there on who it is that I am and what it is that I do. And I've got plenty of other videos to browse through on my YouTube page. So if you'd like to have a look at those, that'd be great. Take care. Thanks very much. Hi everyone, this is card number 2 and this is the Howlite. So if you chose the Howlite, this is your reading. Today's question is, will we be together? So let us get the cards out on the table and have a look and see what's going on. We've got the Empress, 3 of Wands, the Tower, 6 of Swords, the High Priestess, Knight of Swords. Let's just get these centered up a little bit here. We have the Star, 7 of Pentacles, Deception. Someone is wearing a false self-mask in this relationship. Seek. Moving on. Okay, so brought over here to the High Priestess and the Knight of Swords, and I feel that this really reflects the other person. I think there's the one thing that hits me about this character is the inconsistency of what is that they want and what is that they're actually working towards with you in the relationship. I think one moment they want it to be one thing and the next they want it to be something else. And then they rattle around in that experience in a very internal way and they get very uncertain and very unsure about where things are going. And then I think they can actually get quite reactive about that. The Knight of Swords is certainly a card of anger, irritability, and explosiveness. You know, I think at times when they get uncertain, they become very angry and reactive, and they can be quite threatening in some ways. There's a real uncertainty as to how things are going to go. I mean, which direction are they going to go as far as how they handle it? This is a person who can lash out. I think down here, the Star and the 7 of Pentacles, very much about who it is that you are. I think you're quite consistent comparatively. You're very, very much the opposite to this person, which is maybe why they've been so attracted to you. I think there's a consistency in terms of your output. I think, you know, working towards certain goals, you really keep your eye on the horizon and you're very certain about how you manifest or produce those results. And I think the thing is the two of you have agreed on certain, you know, a certain direction with the relationship, and moving things forward in a way where you're both on the same page. And then all of a sudden this person changes their mind and it's something else. And it's very hard to keep up with, very draining energy to be around. I think coming over here to the Tower and the 6 of Swords, I think it shows the inconsistency has become impossible to work with. You know, there's been a crumbling, a decay of the relationship in terms of the foundation. And I think accumulatively over a long period of time, you know, it's just been one issue after another that's compounded to a point where things are just not moving forward. They're not reconciling in a way that gives a healthy foundation to the relationship and allows things to unfold in a kind of cohesive and natural way, really. I do have some issues here. I think some issues around the person's character in terms of trust. I think that, you know, they really do steer things in a way that can be very destructive, but also in a way where they're getting what they want. So, you know, you agree on something together in terms of the direction, and then all of a sudden underneath this person's actually working in a very different direction that really is quite counterproductive to the future outcomes of what you've agreed on. I come over here to the Empress and the Three of Wands because I feel that this is a part of who it is that you are once again. I think this is the Empress is a card of maternity and motherhood. It's a card of productivity. I think the Three of Wands is certainly a card of once again of productivity and unfolding a potential. My sense is that a part of what you possibly have agreed on for some of you is the idea of family. And I feel that you've wanted to have a family. I think that's been very much in line with a number of goals that you've been trying to achieve in this particular relationship. And I think that this has been agreed on by this particular person. And I think that you've wanted a large family. I think you've wanted a number of children. But it's not just family. I think you've also been very productive in terms of your work. You're a very work-focused person who's very sort of has the ability to kind of generate a high output. You really know how to achieve results. I think you work very hard. I think business or work has been going very productively for you. It's really been opening up in a way that's been very rewarding. Perhaps this person has some issues about that. I think perhaps they've agreed about maybe about having kids and then maybe changed their mind, which is a very sort of rattling experience for you. And perhaps they've also been a bit, I think the swords, there's some issues here with the swords, I think they look at you, and when I say issues with the swords, I mean issues about this person. The swords are reflecting the issues in this person. I get a sense that they've also maybe been a bit jealous about how easily you sort of seem to make productivity seem to them. I mean, you're so consistent and so reliable and so productive in terms of your skill to achieve your goals. And I think that this person, that makes this person a little bit jealous. But I certainly feel that you've been very honest about what you've wanted, and that you've both agreed on a number of things in terms of the criteria as to what you're working towards. However, this person at the same time is working towards something very different. Like they can be quite deceitful. You come down here to deception. Someone is wearing a false self-mask in this relationship, and I do feel that this reflects quite strongly what I'm picking up. They're saying one thing, but then they're actually doing another, and it contradicts what you've both tried to sort of set as an agenda, for your future. So difficult stuff, a difficult dynamic, because it all comes down to reliability. Okay, and I think this person is greatly unreliable, and I think more importantly, can you trust the direction that things are going with in terms of what this person wants? We come down to here to actually we'll start with seek, and seek is where you become lost in your perspective. Often too engrossed in a relationship where you've lost sight of yourself, and so seek really asks you to find solitude. It's about an introspective process that takes you into a quiet place that allows you to sift down this experience. And there's a lot to sift down because this person's really rattled the whole experience of the relationship and rattled your ideas about what is possible for the future. At this point in time, you're saying, do we have a future together? Okay, because I think you invested so much with them in terms of what it is that you wanted. And I think that they've really deceitfully agreed on a lot of that criteria, and you had a lot of hopes and dreams about what was going to eventuate as a consequence of them being on board on one level. But really, you're really needing to understand more clearly what is their process. What is it perhaps that I've done wrong? And the thing is, you haven't done anything wrong. What you really have here is a person who has a lot of issues that probably stem from their past. I think probably there's some past relationship issues here that are really based on trust and their inability to be able to sort of to trust confidently in anybody who was actually going to be there for them. But I think more importantly that there is some really deceitful behavior here that anchors something that's a little bit more, I want to say sinister, but I don't want it to sound scary. I just think, I don't think this person always has your best interests at heart, or I don't think they necessarily have everybody else's best interests at heart. I think they can be quite selfish and very insecure. But coming back to seek, it's important time for you to have a self-reflective process to find the answers on what's happening, to quieten things down, to find resolution within yourself about where things are at. And part of what that might mean is working with somebody else on that level. That could be counseling, could be a mentor, it could be a spiritual guide, a spiritual guide from within yourself, or it could be a religious spiritual guide even. It could be a guru. Anything and anyone who can actually help you move through this from some sort of deeply internalized process of actually trying to make sense of what's going on so that you can move forwards. And really that brings us to moving on, which asks you to, in combination, explore or examine the current relationship and to identify what you are unhappy about or what you were happy about. Really, it's about recapturing your authentic self, because I think you've lost yourself in this. And once again, it's asking you once again to give yourself more time, the space to give yourself some soul-searching time. And I think also it's really sort of allowing you to realize through your own process, that it's time, that it is time to move on. The question here is, will we be together? I don't feel that you will. And I feel that is really down to this other person. Putting all of the issues that I've described to one side, in terms of a technical outcome, I don't feel that this person is going to give you anything to work towards in terms of, like a grab on re-establishing this connection in any way. The High Priestess is a card of uncertainty about the future, and the Knight of Swords is a card of indecision, frustration, and past issues. And I think that reflects this person. I think they're just so caught up in their own mental kind of experience of inconsistency and really it's just a rattling around experience where I don't think that they have anything new to kind of bring to you as a potential to reestablish a connection. And I think that what's really important is if you come back to what is it you're looking to achieve, I think there are really strong goals that you want to work towards around work and about having family that are really clearly on the table still. And I don't feel that this is a person who can give you any level of reliability or consistency to achieve that. So as difficult as this one might be, I feel that perhaps this is actually for the best in many ways, and that a part of your self-reflective processes is really finding what you want and what you don't want as a consequence of this relationship. And once you really establish what you want in a future relationship, then I think things will move forward into a very new phase in your life. Look, I hope this reading has made some sense, and if it has, please leave some comments or feedback down below. It'd be great to get that. Please like and share this video where you can, and hit subscribe while you're down there. You can also tap on the bell icon. That'll give you notifications for any future readings that I post. If you would like to find out more about me and the service that I offer as a psychic tarot reader, you can go to www.tonyfoxtarot.com. And just on a final note, plenty of other videos to have a look at on my YouTube channel page, so please feel free to browse those. Okay, thanks very much, guys. Take care. Hi everyone, this is card number 3, and this is the Smoky Quartz. So let's get the cards out on the table and have a look and see what's going on. Question being, will we be together? So we have the Hanged Man, Two of Swords, the Fool, Nine of Pentacles, the World, Ace of Cups. Let's just get these centered a little. The Chariot, Page of Wands, Reconciliation. Someone from your past is returning to your life. Move. And take the lead. Where to start? I'm going to start with the Hangman and the Two of Swords. I feel this relationship came to a dead end, like some kind of an impasse. The two of you found yourselves in a position where you were just unable to push things forward for whatever reason. I think a lot of that's been to do with an inability for either one of you to get your heads around each other's perspective. I don't think either one of you has wanted to budge in terms of moving it forward. Maybe not wanting to sacrifice your independent positions or your independent paths. And independent paths is a really strong feature in this reading, because I think the two of you have been going in very different directions for some time, for good reason. But sticking with the Hangman is a card of, well, it's a stop card. It's a card of perspective. It's also a card of sacrifice. The Two of Swords is a card of refusal. It's a blocked card, so it's a stop card. It's an inability to get your head around certain issues that are blocking you or the other person or the both of you. So combined, there's been a stop on everything, a dead end, an inability to get either one of your heads around any way of breaking through this impasse to actually explore the relationship. I feel that both of you have been going in different directions for some time. Now, my sense is that you are a very strongly motivated individual who really likes to break new ground. I think you like to see new horizons. I think you're a natural explorer. So travel, getting out there, being adventurous, engaging with life in a way that really helps you to let off steam, to engage your energy, and to be challenged in ways that are very physical, but also about reaching goals. It's very important to you. The Chariot is a card of focus and willpower and success. The Page of Swords is about new opportunities, new horizons, and it's a strong energy card. It's also about new beginnings. I think perhaps you've actually taken a new beginning in terms of your career direction. Maybe work has actually been a big focus for you and you've been really pushing that. It's been a really strong feature in terms of the framework of your world. It's been really at the center of your focus. So there's been a lot of energy going into that. So I think that's been a real distraction from your ability to get into the mindset of relationships and what relationships need, because it's not necessarily been a priority to you. Work's been a priority for you. The Fool, the Nine of Pentacles, these two cards reflect the other person. I feel that this person has been going on their own journey, an independent journey. The Fool is all about independence, a road less traveled, being inspirational, being in the moment, not being restricted by anybody or anything. The Knight of Pentacles is a card of unfolding latent talent. I feel that this person has also gone in their own direction, really doing their own thing in terms of unfolding perhaps something that's been very dear to them, or been maybe like a big project idea, or it could be something to do with their work. But essentially, they've really wanted to grow into something that is very important to them in terms of a project or a particular focus. And they felt perhaps that doing that on their own without any restriction has been very important. I think they're a very creative individual. I really want to say that. This person has a creative process, also a creative mind, creative goals. Perhaps this journey has also been about more fully realizing what their potential is, what it is that they can reap from those particular, goals. So just to recap on that, a definite impasse, things coming to an end, the both of you going in very different directions. So I think the relationship has just kind of closed off in quite a sort of natural way. I don't feel there's animosity here. I don't feel that there is any conflict really that sort of leaves the both of you hanging in the balance with ill feeling. Now, having said that, reconciliation, someone from your past is returning to your life. Okay, so I still feel that this person, although they've gone in a new direction, okay, and although they're sort of, doing their own thing, they still also feel that there is more to unfold in this relationship. I think you are also somebody who is driven by success and you like to realize goals. For you, I think the idea of a new beginning is something that really does ignite you. It does actually give you a spark. It strikes passion within you. And I feel that there is potential for the both of you to reconcile what has happened because there is still more there to unfold in this particular relationship. Now, how is that going to happen? Well, I feel that you are the one that holds the answer to that particular question. We come down here to move. This is a card of action. It's about being proactive in matters of the heart. And it really requires us to get the relationship moving by mastering the idea of taking charge and mastering the destiny of the relationship. So giving the idea of this relationship the time and the right effort. And I don't mean just going through the motions, but really giving it your heart and soul, really putting into getting this started up in a way that allows it to flourish and focuses on the other person as well as yourself. You basically have the ability to move and shape things in a new direction with this particular relationship. And taking the lead builds on this. It's really about identifying the opportunity, first of all, to take things forward. Opening up lines of communication is one part of that. But at the same time, it's about exploring new horizons, new possibilities. And you are all about that as a person. But this relationship was going in a certain direction independently for either one of you because at the end of the day, you had independent goals to achieve. Now, the opportunity for you both to come back together and to realize what the potential was beyond the impasse is really, really important now. And so my sense is that exploring new possibilities in this relationship require you to learn new skills together and to be creative in a way where you unravel everything it is that happened before and took you to a dead end and basically move beyond it with creativity, injecting it with passion, taking the lead and allowing it to flourish and to grow. But also, I think you're the one that really needs to sort of initiate this. You're the one with the spark. You're the one with the passion. You're the one with the drive who can really focus in on giving this what it needs to get it back up and running. I'm not saying that the other person doesn't, but I think you're just more naturally inclined with your energy to be able to bring it back together and to give it the momentum that it needs to take it forward. But learning new skills together is a really big part of a creative process where it really draws you together and bonds you in a way that you haven't had before. And I think that igniting the passion of the other person is really important because it's about showing them a way towards achievement. And I think that is something that's much more natural for you. They're a much more organic individual who's very much in the moment. They don't really have the strategy and planning in place or the consistency of willpower to drive it to that next point of success. But combined, the two of you, I feel that you actually can get this back on the road, can get this moving forward in a way where you actually get a very successful outcome. Now, the World and the Ace of Cups. The World is about success and fulfillment. The Ace of Cups is about new beginnings, emotional new beginnings, new life, a whole new life. My sense is that there is a whole new world here for the two of you to explore that will give you fulfillment, will give you a fresh new beginning. And most importantly, the world is your oyster together. I feel that you can explore new horizons. My feeling was that there was something about this relationship that was above and beyond the restrictions of a routine day-to-day experience, that there was somehow something that the two of you could realize together that would actually really take you out there into the world. That might be about traveling. It might be about moving to a different part of town or a different part of the country or to a new country. It might be about going on a journey together that takes you around the globe. Think big with this relationship. It has the potential to, I'm shaking the whole bench up here, with excitement about this particular relationship because I think there is a lot of energy in it and I think that there is a lot to realize for the both of you. I'm going to say one final thing here. I feel that within the next 5 weeks, there is some initiation of communication, between the two of you. I feel that within the next 5 months, this relationship is back up and running, full steam ahead, breaking new ground in terms of where it is that you're all going. I'm going to also say one other final thing. Ace of Cups, it's a card of new life. It can also mean a card of pregnancy. The World. Combined together, these two cards say to me new life. I feel that there is a new life gestating in the background there. I don't know whether that's something that you want, but there is definitely a potential in terms of children having a child as well. So I feel that there is a lot to work through in this particular relationship. Anyway, I hope this reading has made some sense to you. And if it has, please like and share this video where you can. Hit subscribe and tap on the bell icon while you're down there. That'll give you notifications for any future readings that I post. If you're interested in my services as a psychic tarot reader, you can go to www.tonyfoxtarot.com. Plenty of information there about who it is that I am, what it is that I do, and how it is that you can access my service. And then on a final note, I also have plenty of other videos that you might like to explore on my YouTube channel, so feel free to browse through those and have a look. Thanks very much. Take care. Hi everyone, this is card number 4, and if you chose the amethyst, this is your reading. So the question today is, will we read together? Let's get the cards out and have a look and see what's going on. We have Judgment, 7 of Pentacles, the World, 9 of Pentacles, the Magician, Page of Wands, Temperance, Queen of Cups. Worth waiting for, divine timing is at work in your love life. Release. And spread your wings. Wings feature very strongly in this particular reading. Temperance, worth waiting for, spread your wings. We'll come back to that. And I feel that I'm drawn over here, Judgment and the 7 of Pentacles, and I feel like you've come to a bit of a crossroads in terms of taking a relationship forward or a connection with somebody. I feel this connection, this relationship is intact, that things are moving forward. I don't feel that there's a split here. I feel things are together. But, you know, the call to really understand how to take things forward, and the next step is really the basis of this reading. I feel like you've come to a crossroads where you have to make some big decisions, both independently and as a couple, as to how things should move forward. I think largely everything's been fine, but there's something that's not quite right that needs to be put into place before you can be sure one way or the other. I do sense that you've been very clear about what that is. And I don't feel that the other person has been so clear on that. And I think has a lot to do with the fact that you're two very different people. I'm drawn over here to the World and 9 of Pentacles, and I feel that these two cards reflect the other person that we're talking about. And this is somebody who is really quite successful in their own right. I feel they are very well established in terms of perhaps business or within their career at least. I think they've been very focused on establishing themselves in a way that builds money and finance, rewards in life that are sort of fairly material. And this is a talented individual, probably very good in commerce, very good in business, has some really talented creative concepts or ideas about how to get themselves out into the world. I think they really feel that there is a reach to perhaps succeed on a level where they have some sort of talent that's waiting in the balance, really. And they're really trying to tap into that, to unfold that, and to make something of themselves. So, I also feel that this is a very strong person who is very sure of their own self in terms of their character. Quite nuts and bolts, very practical. I feel they're very, very attractive as well. I think there's something very magnetic about their personality, and I think they're really trying to set themselves up very much at a financial level for the future in terms of the relationship. I feel that they're very much on board with the relationship, but there's something just not really resonating here in terms of all the pieces. There is something missing for me, and I think you've identified what that might be. I think on an emotional level, they just seem a little bit distant, very preoccupied with what it is that they are doing, what they're all about. And I think it can be a little bit slippery because they're doing everything, they can to make the relationship a success and to take it to where it needs to go from a nuts and bolts point of view, okay? But you're not all about that. You're all about something very, very different. You're a very spiritual person. I'm drawn down here to Temperance and the Queen of Cups. There's a very spiritually minded person, very connected to spirit, very highly intuitive. There's a lot of healing energy in you. I think you're very sympathetic to other people, and you're really drawn to give them what they need. You'd give the shirt off of your own back to help another person. I think you identify with people in a very clear and concise way from an emotional point of view. I think you have a very emotionally mature nature, very emotionally intelligent, highly intuitive, probably even a little bit psychic. And I think you follow your path. I think you look for the signs and the symbols from a spiritual point of view. I think you really follow that path very clearly. The one thing I would say in relation to this connection with this other person is that there is a tendency to compensate for what they're not giving you. I think you really feel that this is a soul connection. You really want this to be the one. You feel that this is the person for me. We're supposed to be with each other at a soul level. And I think that that's a little bit imbalanced, because I think the other person is way too practical to be able even to get those kinds of concepts. So my sort of little alarm bell is going off immediately as to what that all means. I think you've tried to point out to this person, quite clearly, quite concisely, in a way that they can get their head around what it is perhaps that's actually lacking in the relationship for you. And so they're saying, yeah, I get that, yeah, not a problem, but do they feel it? I think that's the most important. Are they actually feeling it like you're feeling it? Now, I'm going to cut to the chase, because what's the outcome here? I do feel that this relationship is going to move forward into the future. I think you will be together. I think the Magician and the Page of Wands symbolizes. The Magician is about striking things into action. It's about moving things forward. It's a card of initiation. It's about using all of the skills and experiences that you both have to make this move in a direction that is successful. The Page of Wands is a card. Is a card of new beginnings. There's a lot of passion in this relationship. It's quite sort of fire from a sexual point of view. I think the both of you have a lot in common. I think that there are new horizons in terms of the potential for things to move in a direction that really give it a lot of traction in terms of the future. But I'm not entirely convinced that this is the right direction. I'm going to be honest with you straight up. There is an imbalance here in this relationship that just doesn't seem to have a clear pathway to resolve and give you what it is that I know that you're really wanting. And I think that if I'm drawn down here to release, and release is very much about preconceived ideas, notions and expectations about what you want in a relationship. And sometimes that can lead you to sort of hold on way too tightly, which leads to a lot of tension. And I think this has been very much the case for you. And you have this real expectation, this real, strong idea that this is like a soul connection, that this is the one, that we are supposed to be together. But this person doesn't respond, equally or even proportionately in a way that you really feel it to be. And so they're always kind of clunking along, with a big thud, that just seems to be very obvious. At times, it seems to be very important to you as to their failure to deliver the sort of totality of what I guess what you expect this really to be. Release calls on you to let go of the idea of controlling this in a way where, you know, you become too clingy about what you think it should be. So, you know, it's really about letting go of all of that stuff that's preloaded, and allowing the relationship basically just to breathe and to allow it to be what it needs to be. And you Spread Your Wings builds on this. You know, the desire for a relationship can really be too restricting. He's really wanting this relationship to happen in a way where it's just a bit too, it becomes a bit too suffocating. There's no air flowing around what needs to happen, so that the signs become more clear. It's sort of when you're pushing for it to be in a particular way, and not allowing it just to organically move in a direction that it needs to, so that it can speak to you more clearly. You know, you're setting yourself up for trouble. And I think, you know, your mind and your body really want to soar. And I think that you're pushing that through the idea of the relationship, which confines everything in a way where it becomes a bit suffocating. And also, I think this idea of this relationship being the right one, you know, sometimes, you know, you really think this is what you want. But, you know, when you get it, it's like, is that actually what I really want, or what I thought it was really going to be? Now, I'm drawn over here now to Worth Waiting For. Divine timing is at work in your love life. I'll be clear with you here. I don't feel that this is the soul connection that you're looking for. And I feel that there is somebody else in the balance waiting for you. But what you need to do is take a step back and actually see this for what it really is. No amount of compensating is going to get you the outcomes that really deliver you what you want. Because this person is definitely a 9 out of 10. You know, they have so much going on in terms of building towards a great future with the two of you. And I think that they're a very successful and accomplished person in their own right. And I think they're totally on board with the relationship. But they're just a very different character that's much more about the nuts and bolts of life, as opposed to the sensitivity and, you know, spirituality that really make your world a much more impactful experience from a meaningful point of view. I'm not saying that this person doesn't feel that there is meaning in the relationship, or that there isn't meaning in the future with you, but I do feel that they are always going to be distracted by other things that just don't fall in line with really what your sense of self is about, but also about what your values are about as a totality, okay? I think it's a 9 out of 10. I think this is a really good potential in terms of a future with somebody, but if I have to be honest with you, I think for a person like you, you are never going to really be sold on the practical material side of life, and you will always look for something that resonates at a heart level and a spiritual level for it to be truthful, and therefore you're looking for a much deeper meaning than this person can really provide you. I hope that doesn't hurt. It's not meant to. It's meant to guide you in a way where you can make decisions to understand that you do have a future with somebody if you hold out for it. Worth waiting for. Divine timing is at work in your love life. This is a test. This is a test. This is a 9 out of 10. This is a test. If you're looking for the 10 out of 10, you need to take a step back and be truthful with yourself. But the only way you're going to find a way forward here is to give this some space and allow it to breathe, and stop projecting onto it in a way that really intensifies this idea of what your preconceptions are all about. Yeah, because it just leads to too much expectation. I hope this reading has made some sense to you, and if it has, please leave some feedback down below in the comment section. That would be great. Hit subscribe, tap on the bell icon while you're down there. That'll give you notifications for any future readings that I post. Like and share this video where you can. That would be great. And if you're interested in the services that I offer as a psychic tarot reader, you can go to www.tonyfoxtarot.com. Plenty of information about who it is that I am and what it is that I do on that particular website. And just before we wind things right up, I have plenty of other readings posted on my YouTube page, so feel free to browse those and have a look. Take care, guys. Thanks very much.